This man is absolutely bonkers, okay? This dude is completely, 100%, absolutely and unequivocally bonkers, okay? It's a little bit off subject, but do you think David Pakman would mind if I looked at his Mike Lindell interview? Do you think he'd be upset with me? He wouldn't be upset with me, would he? Michael Lindell was on CNN yesterday freaking out too. That one was pretty good. I don't doubt it.
In our audience, CEO and inventor of My Pillow. Mike, I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So listen, you first came to my attention. I first became aware of you.
I'm a little shocked Mike Lindell would come on Pakman's show. Yeah, seriously. It's wild. I don't even think, I don't know, what is Mike Lindell even doing these days? Isn't he like, I don't even know what he's doing these days, you know? Is he in a lawsuit? I don't know. Is he in trouble? I don't even know. Is he getting sued? Yeah, he's getting sued, I think.
At the start of the pandemic, Donald Trump held this event at the White House and announced, here are some business people that are going to be doing things to help us. You were going to be, if I recall correctly, making masks and maybe even some other things. How did you first come to meet Donald Trump and that relationship start?
Well, it was the summer of 2016. He invited me to Trump Tower. I was August 15, 2016. It was a private meeting.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't Pakman getting criticized for platforming the far right here? That's the real question. Why am I the only one who gets this? Why? Honestly.
I went in there. It was about 35 minutes, just him and I walked out of there and I come from a past of addiction and stuff. I didn't think politics affected anything, but I did walk out of his office and said, he's going to be the greatest president ever. If he's with all the things we talked about, My Pillow being made in the USA. I said I was going to have a platform at which I do, the Lindell Recovery Network.org, which helps addicts. And he said, I'm going to stop the drugs pouring in. And we just had this back and forth. And I went to
He's going to be the greatest president in the history of the USA. We talked about my business. What?
I went to his employees afterwards, and I asked them, I kind of did my due diligence. I'm going, is this real? I mean, the only agenda he had was to help our country and to help people. And that's what and they all said, yes, he's amazing boss, amazing man. And they all had a personal story about him. And then, boy, I got back to Minnesota and I did a press release, and you'd think I shot someone. They attacked me and called me a racist and called me everything. And all I did was say I had a meeting with Donald Trump. I was running for president.
And to be perfectly clear, and it should be known, this man is absolutely bonkers. Okay, this dude is completely, 100%, absolutely and unequivocally bonkers. Okay, I know he used to be a drug addict. I don't think that excuses his political views now. He is just lost. And apparently he had a freak out on CNN today. Isn't that true? Somebody linked that earlier. Was that today? Or at least it was in the past 24 hours? He had a big old freak out. Yeah, this video from August 6, 2021, which is today. Who had a freak out? Pakman? No, Mike Lindell. I don't know what a David Pakman freak out would ever look like. He's a pretty... David Pakman's pretty emotionally controlled guy, you know. Please play. Yeah, I want to see.
My Pillow CEO
Hello.
Mike Lindell continues to claim he has evidence that China hacked U.S. voting systems.
Does this guy age? Just out of curiosity, because I'm just not seeing the evidence.
And switch votes for the former president to Biden votes. In a moment, you'll hear what 24 election officials and cyber experts contacted by CNN say about those claims. Lindell is not backing down even as he faces a lawsuit from voting machine maker Dominion alleging he's defamed the company with his false accusations, and Lindell's company is countersuing. CNN's Drew Griffin went to Minnesota to talk to Lindell about his claims that threaten democracy.
This is going to be an extremely confused segment when I upload it. However, I absolutely loathe the idea that Vosh is as tall as I am. I need to be able to look down on him. He needs to be at least a head shorter than me. But I can take comfort in the fact that I am, almost certainly, far more built than he is. Who cares, baby short kings for life? No shame if you're short. but I dream of bullying Vosh, and I would prefer to do so from a height advantage. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I'll have to take your word for it, as no one has ever toppled me. Why are people like this? Why? Why?
Drew's report.
The My Pillow guy.
Mike Lindell, yes, the My Pillow guy is convinced. China hacked the election, Donald Trump really won, and Lindell has the absolute proof.
They did it in all the states, every single state.
They changed the vote.
Every single state.
And you have the proof.
Yes. That
will show
I have the whole data.
The actual exchange of votes.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
It is, of course, complete nonsense. Despite every piece of so-called evidence Lindell has presented so far, 3 videos, a lawsuit, screenshots he sent to CNN, there's still no proof that the election was hacked, and that's according to 24 cyber experts and election officials contacted by CNN.
100% evidence.
When Lindell released his so-called evidence, in videos like this, fact checkers quickly found out it was evidence of nothing. These images are just publicly available voter data, scrolling across the screen, not proof of election hacking.
Might as well have just put like the Matrix fucking number scroll going down, you know? Like, we've hacked into the database. Here's the, and it's just literally like just RBG values and shit, like people flowing down, fucking lava lamps in the background.
So Lindell changed his story, saying now the real evidence will be revealed at a cyber symposium, streamed live with My Pillow discounts available throughout. And as further proof, he sent CNN a preview, 6 different screenshots.
You sent us this on Friday.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's just one piece of 1.2 billion lines of data from the election. Okay.
What?
There's within that will be timestamps of when it happened. There'll be flips in there.
So we sent this to our own experts. He said that it doesn't show any specific actions of any kind, election-related or not.
Yeah, we showed these screenshots to our expert, and he said, and I quote, "What? What is this? This is just numbers. Is this a joke? You're paying me for this. What am I even supposed to do? There's nothing here to look at." Do you have any response to these claims?
And it's proof of nothing.
Okay, so he said that's nothing, huh? Well, he's wrong. Then you didn't hire a cyber expert.
We didn't consult just one cyber expert. We consulted 9 top election security experts who told us Lindell.
The audacity on this guy is like, sir, this is not election data. This is just an extremely long CVS receipt. And Mike Lindell looks him in the eye and he's like, guess you hired the wrong guy to analyze it.
Lindell's screenshots were extremely rudimentary metadata and completely ridiculous. We also
That's
reached
what
all
I said
15
they'd say.
officials from the 15 counties where Lindell says, without any proof, votes were hacked and switched. Lindell mentions some of the counties in his videos and lists them out in his counter lawsuit against Dominion Voting. They are counties that use paper ballots counted by systems not connected to the internet. Every one of them told CNN there is no evidence they were hacked by anyone.
You identified 15 counties where the votes were switched. We contacted all 15 counties, red and blue. Red and blue.
That doesn't matter.
And we couldn't find a single person that said this is even possible. They say, are you mistaken?
Right.
They think you're wrong.
Right.
The bottom line is they have paper
Right.
ballot backups
Right, that's
that
good.
prove that they were not.
So you guys went and they let you audit?
Do you feel bad for this guy? He's off his fucking rocker. I mean, wasn't Hitler like a meth addict or something? I can only take my sympathies so far. This guy perpetuates a lot of misinfo. Also, he's getting sued into oblivion right now, right? By Dominion? That is who's suing him, right? Yeah, Dominion threatened a bunch of people with slander, and they actually went after Mike Lindell. Yeah.
There? They let you do a full audit, CNN? You guys did a full audit on 15 counties, huh?
We did what Lindell did not do. We went to Delta County, Michigan to see how the election was carried out. Trump won here. Nearly.
How would you even falsify that? This is the thing. Like, how would you even falsify this? Go down into a county office while carrying a stack of papers. Does this mean anything to you? And it's just like, It's just, you know, when you try to open the wrong program in like a text app and it just shows a bunch of random strings of numbers and letters? Like, does this indicate any corruption to you? Does this mean anything to you? And they're like, what they should have done, I think what they should have done, CNN should have taken those screenshots, faked their own, and then handed them back to Mike Lindell and said, so we're here. What am I supposed to be looking at, you know? Like, just replaced it with a bunch of, like, 4chan green texts, you know? Even if it's legible text or something, I don't think Mike Lindell would have noticed. Mike Lindell is battling ghosts every time he turns his head, okay? He's got wizard eyes. Every time he looks around, he's looking at it completely. He wouldn't notice, okay? He wouldn't notice the difference.
2-1.
The state, Michigan, entry point owner, Delta County.
In his videos and his lawsuit, Lindell claims someone in China hacked the election system here and stole away precisely 3,215 Trump votes and turned them into Biden votes.
What does that
The Republican
mean?
County Clerk, Nancy Przrocki, finds the allegation laughable for one main reason.
It is never connected to the internet.
Never.
Never connected to the internet at all whatsoever.
No, they physically sent Chinese special ops agents into this bumfuck nowhere county and stole that exact amount of ballots, and then used whiteout and a marker to change them. Ah, shit. What is this? Oh, I saw this. The truth is out there, okay? The truth is out there. What is this?
One goal, okay? To cultivate a larger following.
Oh, this is the Hassan bit when he talked about the Kirk debate. Yeah, I saw that.
Not only are they not connected to the internet, the votes are cast by hand on paper. Voters scan their ballots into this Dominion scanning machine where 2 digital storage cards keep a tally. The paper ballot goes right into this bin under lock and seal.
And that container is sealed.
And just to check that everything went okay, they conduct audits, comparing the paper ballots to the results on the computer. And in 2020, it was an exact match.
We audited 3 different precincts and they matched exactly. So
what would you say to somebody who made a documentary that, among many counties, accused your county of being the victim of a Chinese hack that changed the vote counts?
I would say that didn't happen in Delta County.
A Republican-led Michigan State Senate investigation found out it didn't happen anywhere. No evidence of widespread or systematic fraud.
I don't think you really understand how votes are cast, collected, and tabulated.
That's how it is, right? That's the real criticism. It's not like, does he even know he's lying? I legitimately do not know if Mike knows that he's lying. He might just have, like, a super far-right, like, Trumper, like, confidant who just will say anything to him and Mike Lindell will believe it. Like, he could just be provided, like, a list of documents and the guy's like, yeah, dude, this proves that, like, I don't know, like, Stalin rigged the election for Biden or something, I don't know. And then Mike Lindell will run around, like, defending that with his life.
In this country.
Okay, you know what? I do. But what you don't understand is they can get, after they're tabulated, they can get hacked after the fact, which they were, because Donald Trump was going to win anyway. Donald Trump was going to win anyway.
The paper ballots
you
which
didn't
were
do an
cast
audit to match them up, though.
Were audited against the machine
No, they weren't.
count.
No, they weren't.
In these counties,
no,
they
they
were,
weren't. No, they weren't. Who told you that?
The county officials
Oh,
who
did they tell you that? Well, they're going to have some answering to do.
No matter who says there was no widespread fraud in the election, whether it's local election officials, secretaries of state.
We gave your documents to our cybersecurity experts and they didn't find anything. Oh, they tell you that, did they? They tell you that? Yeah, and we went down to the county offices and we checked all the ballot counts against the digital tallies based on audit. Oh, they told you that, did they? Yeah, oh, they told you that? Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they did. They told me a couple things, actually.
Judges, or even Donald Trump's own attorney general, Mike Lindell's conclusion is the same. They are all wrong.
All these county officials are lying?
I don't know. They might be misconstrued. We'll say misconstrued because they don't realize what happened.
Lindell says his information comes from multiple sources, all of them super secret. He claims he spent millions on the project and also claims he will give $5 million to anyone who proves him wrong.
Mike,
This is a very common tactic to boost the legitimacy of your bullshit conspiracy claims, by the way, because they'll never admit when you prove them wrong. Like, the CNN guy just proved him wrong, but he's like, oh yeah, well, no. So it doesn't mean anything, you know?
make up anything.
Who can? No, you can't. This is where.
You are,
no, this
you are
is
just
where,
going to have
no,
a
no,
demonstration.
No. This is where you're wrong. We're giving it to all the. We're giving it to the cyber people that show up. We're going to give them each state. Here's a state, Georgia. They can take it apart.
You could possibly be the victim of a scam here.
Well, then why don't you come to the symposium and make $5 million? Are you worried about me? We should give a hug. You're worried about Mike? Oh, God bless you.
Here's what we're worried about. We're worried that what you are doing is mistakenly or deliberately destroying the confidence in the legitimate elected president of the United States and fostering what could be real damage
I never
to
said
this
anything
country.
bad about Biden or the Democrats.
You have through this investigation.
No, I have not. You pull it up. You're lying now. You're lying.
Mike,
I said the Democrats warned us. No, you're lying. I said the Democrat Party warned us of this.
You're saying that Joseph Biden was illegitimately elected.
I'm saying that China did an attack on our country
and that the wrong person won.
That's right.
The people who have watched your video believe what you say.
100%.
If you're wrong, isn't that very dangerous?
But yes, but I'm not wrong. I've checked it out. I've spent millions. You need to trust me and come there.
It is a little bit sad, isn't it? I mean, he's pretty far gone.
Yeah, I trust him. Drew Griffin joins us now. Do you have any reason to believe that now, after months of this, I mean, he has never offered proof of anything, and there is no proof, and it's been debunked. It's like his support for sham remedies. I mean, he has a history.
All right, I don't care about the CNN stuff. I care about Mike. Oh, yeah, David Pakman. What are we up to?
You, at that event at the White House that I mentioned at the start of the pandemic, you said that Donald Trump was, quote, chosen by God. How did God reveal to you that he had chosen Trump?
Well, it was a bunch of divine appointments for me. I had a dream in the spring of 2015 that I'd be meeting Donald Trump, and I'm going, why would I want to meet Donald Trump? And all of a sudden, he comes down the escalator running for president. Then I had, in my book, I explain all this. I actually went to the National Prayer Breakfast in early 2016, and when Ben Carson was still running for office, and I was picked out of 12 people out of the whole prayer breakfast with thousands there to pray with Ben Carson in a room, and just these things kept happening to me, and it was like building up, and I'm going, this all has to mean something, and it wouldn't mean that I just end up going golfing with Donald Trump or something, and there was so many divine appointments that led up to that, and then it was something different, something that, because I had met him, I just know this had to, all these things that happen. I look at to know that God exists, I use mathematics and say, if you have a 1 in a million happen or a 1 in a billion, or this thing happens that could never happen, when do you add them together and consider a miracle?
Stuff like this is why I'm an anti-theist, by the way, man. I know there are plenty of sane religious people, but holy fuck, sometimes it's such a legitimizing system for, like, unironic mental illness. I feel Mike Lindell's brain is literally the same as, like, a Homo sapien shaman 20,000 years ago, Mike Lindell is the person who, like, makes people do the dance because last time the rain happened after the dance, okay? That's where we're at,
And that's what kept happening to me, and I go, he's been picked, he has been chosen for such a time as this.
Wow, so if I hear you correctly, you're saying what others might see as odds and probability, you see as divine appointment.
Absolutely, because if you look at it, especially when there's more than one, and then there's confirmations of that.
Wow.
Here's a guy for me being just an ex-addict from Minnesota, a guy very functioning addict, growing up again. And here I end up in the White House. I'll tell you an example. So I end up in the White House at a roundtable event. I never thought I could come within 100 yards of the White House with my pass.
I see.
I see. And here I end up in the White House. I said, who's sitting here? And they go, the president is. There's like 15 of us in the room. First time I was ever in the White House, and they do that. We go on national TV. Then it's just him and I facing forward, and it went viral, that screenshot. And all my friends are going, "What is this ex-crack addict sitting next to the president of the United States? Jesus."
Do you think he would apply this logic to all of the down and out, like, black athletes and civil rights activists who Obama invited to the White House back during his time? Like, you know, all the people who are down on their luck, but like they got invited. Like he wouldn't look at that and think like, oh my God, it's divine appointment that God would put them with. Probably not. I feel like for guys like this, I mean, the existence of the supernatural is literally just something to give supernatural importance to things that they think are important. It's not enough that it's special to him that he goes from being like an addict to being sitting next to the president. It has to be like something God willed. It's really, really, really what would you call it? I don't know. Self-important.
This is real, because this could not happen.
This makes no sense, right? In other words, it's almost like Mike Lindell, pillow guy, being at the White House makes such little sense. It must be divine intervention.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's, you know, it's just like when I spoke at the Rose Garden there, when I went there, and we did start making masks. I had got a letter from the White House saying, would you come in and, because we had started making masks. We were one of the first ones, I believe, in the country. And we get there, and he's going to have us all speak from the Rose Garden, and you have to have pre-approved remarks. And if I told you the whole story, I mean, it's just, it's divine how everything went down. Even me sitting in the front row was things that couldn't happen. That was,
dude, I need to get an interview going some of these days. You know what would really suck though? If I ever managed to get something like this going on my channel, you guys would get mad at me because I wasn't epically owning him with facts and logic. Mike Lindell is not the sort of person you bring on to debate, okay? It's the kind of person you bring on to just like sit and quietly watch, you know?
Series of events happened there where I ended up being the only one on stage with him, and then asked him if I could say something off the cuff, and flipped this paper over, and then spoke out about reading our Bibles, getting back in the Word, and it you know, you would think there, I mean, that was heard around the world. I did 109 interviews in 5 days.
Well, Mike, listen, there's so many things I want to ask you about. Let me do a few that are sort of like shorter things. One is in terms of states that were given to Joe Biden that you believe Donald Trump won. How extensive is that list?
It's huge, and it's absolutely huge. And not that I believe, I know he won, because we have all the packet captures and the data from the whole election.
We'll get to that.
Minnesota, New Hampshire, all the swing states we talk about, Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And I mean,
fuck. I feel like I'm just ripping content right now, because all I really have to say to his delusional shit is wow. But like, he keeps saying it before me. I don't even know what to say. I'm not adding anything to this. I'm completely lost. I'm ripping. I'm just ripping right now. I'm a React Andy. I can't, guys, we can't do it. I'll React Andy CNN, but not David Pakman, a YouTuber. YouTubers got to stick out for each other, okay? Even though he's 5 times my size. It is always astonishing to me, the more I look into this stuff, the more I watch it, and the more obvious it becomes that so much of what goes on from the right is honest-to-God mental illness. Like, so much of it goes beyond conniving, malicious political dishonesty and turns into just outright divorce from reality. And that's really weird because, like, you can't actually fight that, you know? I mean, you can push back against it, but I can't convince them. Like, I could never convince Mike Lindell of anything. Ever. I could never convince Mike Lindell of anything. Mike Lindell brushes his teeth every night, but does it as ritual. And he probably thinks fairies actually keep the teeth clean while he's asleep. You know? He doesn't believe in toothpaste. He just does it because he was taught to. That's not a cool statement. It's just conspiracy and magical thinking. I've said this before, but past a certain point politically, mental illness and political conspiracism become completely indistinguishable, you know? They are indistinguishable. They don't... It just completely and absolutely impossible to distinguish between the two, you know? Which is pretty wild, you know? Not good at all. And we should probably do something about that, you know? We should probably not have that. fund mental health services, what would that do for Mike Lindell?
Well, then why don't you come to the symposium and make $5 million? Are you worried about me? We should give a hug. You're worried about old Mike? Oh, God bless you.